Chosen ones, you are the ones who have that unique potential, hidden deep within the universe, beyond the ordinary patterns of this world. Awakening is not for the faint of heart. It is the rebellion of the soul against the norm. The fact that you are reading these words right now is perhaps a sign of a long-awaited call. Beyond statistical probabilities, you have defied the odds at every turn. Although we use only a small part of our brain, as scientists claim, the real power lies not in our mind, but in our soul. 144,000 souls are now awakening after a lifetime of deep hibernation. This awakening also heralds an inner restlessness. Perhaps you feel that you are no longer fully in tune with the universe. Your dreams are more intense, your relationships are evolving, and the synchronicities are unrelenting. Each moment is part of the cosmic dance, bringing you one step closer to your true self. Before we move on, if you are ready to let the world know that you are not only surviving but thriving, click the like button and subscribe now. Those who have doubts about you are horrified to see you succeed. Their anguish sees you shining brighter than ever, and now is your time to shine. Now let us move on. This message is not just a coincidence, but a warning to realize the limitless potential of your soul. Chosen ones, you are invited to discover the secrets of the universe as you forge your own unique paths beyond the possibilities. The cosmos itself seems to be calling out to you. Wake up, it's time. Sounds powerful, doesn't it? Don't worry. If you want to meditate on mountaintops or soar above the clouds, that's fine. But that's not the purpose of this awakening. This is a serious, urgent, and simple matter. The world is changing, and the chosen ones are here to lead the way. Not with halos or superpowers, but with unwavering courage, honesty, and clarity. So fasten your seatbelts. This is a wake-up call, not another spiritual message. And believe me, you cannot press snooze anymore. First of all, awakening is a clash with reality rather than bliss. Awakening is an encounter with reality rather than a calm walk towards awareness. It shatters the comfortable illusions on which individuals base their entire existence. The world you believe to be familiar suddenly shatters and reveals what lurks beneath. This is not a gentle process. It is often dirty, raw, and frustrating. But this is the price of accepting reality as it is. The majority of individuals live their lives surrounded by layers of social indoctrination, expectations, and beliefs. The impression of protection provided by these layers is fragile because it is based on borrowed opinions and half-truths. As you wake up, these layers begin to fall away, sometimes gradually, sometimes suddenly. What remains is the raw reality of who you are and the society you live in. While this is liberating, it is also unsettling because it causes you to reevaluate everything, including your relationships, your purpose, and your role in the world. There is no manual for this procedure. There are no quick cuts or universally applicable solutions. The pursuit of happiness or spiritual ecstasy is not the goal. To truly awaken, you must confront your repressed aspects such as your doubts, anxieties, and traumas. When you are ready, write 11 and send this video link to 5 trusted people. Say, Jesus is Lord. It's about facing the fact that progress comes from overcoming suffering rather than avoiding it. The courage to stand tall in the face of reality is what sets the chosen ones apart from the rest. Things are not easy in this world. Distraction and monotony are rewarded by society. Routine and noise make it easy to stay asleep, to follow the plan, and to numb oneself. But once you see the truth, there is no going back. What you know cannot be unknowable. And while this knowledge can be burdensome at times, it is also the secret to true freedom. Because when you stop running from the truth and face it, you can achieve a level of strength and clarity that most people will never achieve. Secondly, 144,000 is a frequency rather than a total number of people. 144,000 is about entering into a frequency that changes everything, not counting heads. The idea that this number represents a membership list. as if there is a cosmic roll call for selected souls, is held by too many individuals. But the truth is much more powerful. What you connect with is more important than who you are. The chosen are not determined by luck, heredity, or birthright. They can be recognized by their capacity to tune into a frequency that cuts through the cacophony of everyday life. This is not a light or gentle frequency. It is a pulse that pierces through the illusions of daily existence, eliminating everything that is not true and forcing you to face reality. When you enter this frequency, you begin to see beyond appearances. You can feel the reality behind people's words, so they can no longer deceive you. The chaos of the world doesn't overwhelm you because you see the underlying order. You learn to see synchronicity and patterns that others might dismiss as coincidence. However, attuning to this frequency is not automatic. It means letting go of everything that distorts your signal, including fear, uncertainty, and the need for external validation. This is why not everyone hears the call. All over the world, there is a static environment that aims to prevent individuals from realizing their full potential. The frequency of awakening is drowned out by limiting ideas, societal constraints, and constant diversions. Those who persevere in this cacophony are the chosen ones. They do not accept superficial comforts and half-truths. This has nothing to do with superiority. Being chosen increases your responsibility, but does not make you superior to others. When you synchronize with this frequency, you carry the burden of knowing. You can no longer pretend that your actions are meaningless or that life has no purpose. You cannot help but become a channel for change, not because you have to. In the powerful name of Jesus, it is said that your life will never be the same after today. Enter 33. Whether you like it or not, the frequency reorganizes you from the inside out and turns you into an instrument of transformation. The third is that awakening is a death that precedes rebirth. Awakening is a death that precedes rebirth, not a gentle ascension. Everything you have been holding on to, everything you believed you were, begins to crumble. And so it should be. Holding on to the version of yourself shaped by fear, ego, and societal expectations can prevent you from being who you are meant to be. The process is harsh, as it removes the lies you have told yourself to keep yourself small and comfortable. This death seems real, even if it is not tangible. The connections that used to define you can crumble as they no longer reflect who you are. The goals you've been chasing may begin to seem meaningless and leave you wondering why you're here. Even the sense of you, the sense of yourself that you have painstakingly built up over the years, starts to fade. It is confusing. You may feel disoriented, as if the earth has disappeared beneath you. But this collapse is necessary. The illusionary existence has to disappear in order for the truth to surface. This process requires surrender, which is why most people are afraid of it. An awakening cannot be forced, and you have no control over what it will reveal. It reveals your deepest wounds that you have buried so deeply that you forget they are there. But the truth is that your power is hidden in these wounds. Facing them is not a punishment, but an initiation. Every obstacle you overcome and every fear you face makes you stronger. Your new self is forged with the same fire that destroys the old. Rebirth is a gradual process. It is a process of starting over and rebuilding yourself, this time based on reality rather than fiction. You begin to perceive things differently. What once frightened you is no longer powerful. Other people's opinions become less powerful. You go through the world with an unshakable sense of purpose, not because life is easier, but because you have become unshakable. And once you experience this fire, there is no going back. You are no longer the person you used to be. What remains is the version of you that was always meant to exist, and it is much more powerful. Fourth, the rite of passage is a spiritual retreat. A spiritual retreat is not a punishment, but a furnace where the chosen ones are molded. When you wake up, the world you used to know seems very distant. Discussions that used to amuse you now seem superficial. Connections that used to characterize you may no longer define you. Your soul has shifted to a new frequency, and not everyone can meet you there. This does not mean that you are better trained than everyone else. Although this distance may seem isolating, it is actually where your soul develops its mission. When you are alone, there are no external factors to keep you away from yourself. The cacophony of the world fades away, leaving only your thoughts, worries, and realities. This is where the real work begins. Without the constant validation of others, you are forced to face your uncertainties and fears head-on. This is unpleasant, often even painful, but necessary. Growth happens when everything that is not necessary is removed, and only the essence of who you really are remains. This does not happen in comfort. Most individuals fear this kind of isolation, as it reveals aspects of themselves that they would rather hide. They therefore seek constant noise, incessant scrolling, flimsy arguments, and external validation. However, the chosen ones are called to something else. They need to separate from the crowd to follow their own path, not because they are doomed to live a solitary life, but rather because they need space to listen to their inner guidance, the voice lost in the cacophony of the world. Clarity arises in this isolation. When you are not influenced by the perspectives of others, you begin to understand your mission clearly. You realize that the number of people who think well of you does not define your value. Knowing who you are, even when no one is looking, is the source of real power. And when you come out of this retreat, the cacophony of the outside world no longer affects you. You exude a different aura, based on your unwavering sense of purpose, rather than your desire for approval. And that is the basis of true awakening. Number 5. The more liberated you become, the more powerfully the matrix responds. As soon as you begin to break free from the invisible bonds of the world, resistance arises. It is loud, relentless, and sincere. This is not a coincidence. Those who see through the illusions of the matrix, the invisible force that shapes the attitudes and actions of society, are not welcome. The more you wake up, the harder it pushes you back and tests your commitment to the truth you have learned. This is not proof that you are going in the wrong direction, but that you are being liberated. Resistance manifests itself subtly at first. Those around you may criticize your decisions, ridicule your beliefs, or try to bring you back to your old ways. Once secure relationships begin to crumble because the person they once knew is no longer there. Family members misinterpret you. Friends abandon you. It is tempting to become a hermit, to adapt enough to maintain harmony. However, such a privilege is not available to the chosen ones. Their journey requires intimacy, even at the expense of their comfort. Relationships are not the only site of resistance. It even reaches the basic structures that govern civilization. The world is set up to punish those who challenge its norms and reward obedience. When you break free, this balance is upset. Suddenly, you realize how much of civilization is designed to put people to sleep, including control-hungry institutions, fear-based narratives, and constant distractions. Once you are free of these influences, the matrix intensifies its impact by placing chaos and obstacles in your path. You encounter unforeseen obstacles and seemingly missed opportunities. The cacophony of the world intensifies, trying to drown out the sound of your awakening. But the truth is that this resistance is an affirmation. It shows that you have gone beyond the boundaries that most people are restricted by. The more difficult the opposition, the closer you are to breakthrough. Each obstacle serves as a test to see if you are really ready to live without the control of the system. When the pressure comes, most individuals retreat. Once you taste freedom, once you see through the illusion, there is no turning back, which is why the chosen ones keep moving forward. Even if the world tries to keep you where you are, your soul knows the way out. Sixth, chosen individuals are reflectors rather than saviors. There are no chosen ones to save anyone. What the world needs is more mirrors, not more saviors. Stand so firm in your own light that others see their own reflection and realize that they can ignite their own light. That is true awakening, not saving others from their darkness. This is where most people make a mistake. They believe that because they have been chosen, it is their duty to awaken everyone else. But in reality, you cannot make anyone see something they are not ready for. Being the best version of yourself is the only way to show others what is possible. Being a living example of what is possible when you transcend fear, uncertainty, and limitations is what happens when you embody truth. People sense that you are different, even if they don't always understand. It's in your attitude, the unwavering confidence that doesn't need validation, the calm demeanor that resists turmoil. The delusions that people cling to are challenged only by your energy. Some may feel inspired, while others will feel vulnerable. This is because your presence acts as a mirror, reflecting aspects of themselves they have been avoiding and their unrealized potential. This has nothing to do with persuasion or preaching. Words are difficult to break through the barriers that individuals build around their ideas, but energy does. When you stand firm in your beliefs without apologizing, you break the comfort of illusion. Without saying a word, you show individuals that there is more to life than what they do. Then they have to decide whether to ignore what they see or to start doubting everything. The important thing is that you have no influence on their decision. It is your responsibility to embody, not to save. When you try to save others, you run out of energy and create resistance. When individuals wake up on their own terms, real change happens. You're just a catalyst, a reminder of the power they have always had. The world doesn't need more heroes striving to make it better. Instead, it needs more people ready to show that power, independence, and purpose can be achieved without asking permission. Seventh, the call is harsh because it is urgent. Time is running out, so when the wake-up call comes, it does so with a thunderclap. The stakes in this spiritual conflict are greater than most people realize, and the world is not falling apart randomly. A deeper change is taking place beneath the surface of the world's instability. The old world is struggling to hold on to power as systems based on fear and control collapse. This is a breaking moment, not a coincidence. And now, everything is changing. The chosen ones are waking up because their presence is crucial to maintaining balance. Waking up in the midst of this turmoil is a duty, not a punishment. You came here to anchor the frequency of truth, courage, and clarity in the midst of the storm, not to watch the world burn. However, this is precisely why the call is so strong. Half measures and indecision are not an option. Those who perceive the truth must remain steadfast, even as the world around them crumbles, even as the illusions that previously anesthetized the masses dissolve. The intensity of the awakening process is a consequence of this urgency. The world does not stop while you find your bearings. Old identities disappear, relationships break down, and everything familiar begins to change. You may feel like you are being torn apart from the inside out. This is because you are losing everything that makes it difficult to stand up for what you believe in. There is no room for uncertainty, worry, or nostalgia, because their presence is needed now, not years from now, not when it is convenient. The chosen ones have to go through their own awakening faster and harder. This rush is unsettling, as it forces you to assume your role before you feel ready. But the truth is that you were never meant to wait until you were ready. The instability of the world is your path, not something to derail you from your path. Every challenge, uncertainty, and setback is meant to transform you into the person the world needs right now. Whether you answer the call or not, the world is changing. Which would you rather do? Watch from the sidelines or be thrown into the fire? Eighth, gifts are not given by birth. They have to be earned through hardship. Spiritual gifts are not presented with ribbons. Rather, They are imprinted on the soul through adversity. Healing, insight, and intuition are not innate gifts. Rather, they are earned through suffering, loss, and the never-ending process of taking yourself apart and putting yourself back together again. Your true power begins to emerge when life puts you to your greatest test. Comfort encourages complacency, while challenges dispel illusions and force you to face your true self. Pain, as a trigger, helps you become more conscious in ways that ease never could. Your perspective changes after experiencing tragedy, betrayal, or a significant loss. Because you have experienced times when appearances falter, you have learned to look beyond them. This is the origin of intuition, which develops through experience rather than being a magical gift. As you discover that the surface rarely reflects the whole picture, you begin to see what others miss. Learning to travel without a guide and walking into the darkness is the path to spiritual awareness. It is created in the evenings when hope seems so far away, but something inside you refuses to give up. Each painful situation acts as a chisel, removing the outer layers of your identity until only your essence remains. Your knowledge is built on this simple, unadulterated version of yourself. You have overcome your worst worries and come out stronger, so you no longer need the approval of others. The same is true of healing abilities. Those who have experienced pain, felt its weight, and learned to transform it into power are the true healers, not those who run away from it. Their empathy is based on personal experience rather than theory. Therefore, their mere presence can be consoling. They radiate the resonance of someone who has made it through the fire and has something valuable to contribute. These gifts do not come through shortcuts. Trying to gain knowledge without suffering is known as spiritual bypassing and only results in illusion. Perseverance and choosing to evolve even through suffering is the key to gaining true power. Since suffering is what removes the bonds of illusion and releases the full potential of the soul. Those who take the easy way out remain asleep. Number 9. Those who are still asleep are at risk of waking up. Being awakened makes you dangerous, not popular. Your very existence alone calls into question the illusory comfort that people cling to, not because you want to hurt anyone. When you start living in reality, it shakes the foundation of people who are still living in illusion. Something about you makes people uneasy, even if they don't understand why. You become a mirror that reflects aspects of themselves that they are avoiding, such as the lies they have convinced themselves of, the longings they have given up, and the doubts they have repressed. Your presence often causes anxiety, hostility, and confusion because of this discomfort. Sleeping people fight against anything that challenges their point of view. This is for survival, not personal. Illusions provide a sense of comfort, even if they are based on false information. When you walk into a room with an open mind, an open heart, and unwavering truth, it draws attention to the gulf between their current self and their potential self. This contrast is unsettling. Others will respond with curiosity, sensing the freedom you are discovering. Others may respond by trying to reinsert you into their familiar habits, because it is easier to ignore you than to face the flaws of their reality. They may characterize you as overly passionate, arrogant, or lost, not because you are. The system uses this resistance to keep control. Those who deviate from the norm are seen as a danger by the matrix, which lives by uniformity. Your very existence demonstrates that there is an alternative way of living that is not motivated by mindless obedience, fear, or external approval. Because the system cannot suppress this reality, it tries to discredit the messenger. But this does not mean that you should reduce yourself or withdraw. This is proof that your frequency is upsetting the existing order and is designed to accomplish just that. Your goal is to live the truth so unabashedly that those who are ready to awaken cannot deny the potential of something greater, not to convince or convert. Also, You don't have to put up with the objections of individuals who are not ready. What they do with that mirror is up to them. Your presence is the trigger. 10th, you are not being punished. Rather, you are being tested. Every obstacle you face serves as a test rather than a punishment. Adversity is not proof that you are off course, but that you are being molded for something greater. There is no easy path for the chosen. Their path is, in fact, often more difficult, as they are transformed into forces of light that can resist anything. Power is earned, burned with fire, rather than given. And every challenge is meant to test your ability to overcome limitations, uncertainty, and fear. Life tests you not because it is cruel, but to unlock your full potential. After every betrayal, you learn to trust yourself. Every setback forces you to reinterpret success according to your own standards. Every heartbreaking moment tears you apart until there is nothing left that is fake. It's easy to maintain your strength when things are going well, but true strength develops when you have every reason to give up, but decide against it. That is the difference between those who continue to sleep and those who wake up. The chosen ones are not consumed by fire. Those who are closest to you are often the ones who put you to the most difficult tests. Betrayal is the most painful because it confronts you with your expectations and commitments. But even this pain has a function. It tells you that no one else can be your source of strength. When you stop looking to others who do not perceive your worth for validation, you become unstoppable. After each test eliminates the unnecessary, only the real remains. There may be times when you wonder why the journey is so challenging, but remember that the more determined you are, the harder the test will be. Steel is not made without heat. Diamonds are not formed without pressure, and those chosen to be the light in a dark world must first show that they can maintain that light no matter what. Every obstacle is an opportunity to demonstrate your invincibility, not to others, but to yourself. This is how you acquire abilities that cannot be taught. They can only be experienced. So, when life throws you a curveball, ask yourself, what is this turning me into? Instead of, why me? Because the answer is always the same. Someone who is unstoppable. 11th, the first line of defense in spiritual warfare is psychology. Spiritual warfare starts inside your head, not somewhere far away. The greatest battles you will ever fight will not be against opponents outside your mind, but against the unseen forces of self-sabotage, fear, and doubt that infiltrate your mind. The system realizes that the fastest way to take control of your life is to take control of your thoughts. Since you cannot use your power if you doubt it, the first attack is always focused on your point of view. The first weapon is doubt. It seeps in as a whisper, making you question your decisions and judgments. Every time you pause, your momentum weakens. Fear follows soon after, consuming uncertainty until it prevents you from doing. Self-sabotage, on the other hand, is the most destructive weapon. It occurs when you unintentionally block your progress, not because you are incompetent, but because you still think you don't deserve success. This internal resistance is exactly how the Matrix imprisons people, not with concrete shackles, but with imperceptible ideas that restrict their perception of what is possible. The key to liberation is mental mastery. Seeing negative thoughts for what they are, tools to keep you small, is more important than suppressing them. If you can see through the deception, its power begins to diminish. Self-doubt becomes a struggle for self-justification. Fear becomes a compass that guides you towards growth. Moreover, when you realize that your worth is unquestionable, self-sabotage becomes less effective. This shift is not about being naively optimistic, but about taking back control of the stories that create your reality. People are conditioned to seek approval and acceptance by the outside world, but the chosen ones learn to trust their inner guidance. This is why mental mastery is so important. External manipulation is less effective when your ideas are aligned with reality. Someone who understands their mission will not be influenced by fear-based brainwashing. Also, when you free your mind, you free the systems that rely on your uncertainty to function. The real battlefield is within you, in your ideas, beliefs, and decisions. If you win this battle, nothing can stop you. Number 12. There are obligations, not benefits, associated with awakening. Awakening is a duty, not a reward. Being chosen makes you responsible. It does not make you unique. The universe entrusts you with the energy to uplift others, not the spiritual ability to uplift yourself. From the moment you wake up, you are charged with the need to live a life of integrity, service, and purpose. It has nothing to do with being respected or appreciated. As you realize that your mission is not about you, but about what you are here to do, you actually find that your need for approval diminishes as you become more awake. The world needs people who are ready to get their hands dirty and use their expertise to create real change, not more enlightened people sitting on pedestals. This is why chosen people often face more challenges than others. This is preparation, not punishment. The ego humbles in the face of difficulties, which guarantees that your talents are put to good use rather than exalted. Every lesson of patience, compassion, and resilience you learn builds your capacity to lead others, not just by talking the talk, but by setting the example of how to live. However, martyrdom is not synonymous with duty. You do not have to disregard your own desires or sacrifice your well-being to serve humanity. Living in harmony with your highest self is the path to true service, because it is at this point that your presence can inspire and heal. It is your duty to live your life in such a sincere way that others see what is possible and are inspired to follow in your footsteps. Therefore, the chosen ones must always be alert to the ego. The moment you start using your skills to elevate yourself above other people, you go back to the illusion of separation. Being humble and realizing that your skills are meant to be shared, not kept to yourself, is the foundation of true power. The chosen ones are here to withstand the world's frequency of change. This is a call to action, rather than a reward for being unique. You have been given light in a time of darkness. Your purpose is to shine, not for others to worship you, but for them to remember that they have the same light within themselves. The satisfaction of knowing that you have contributed to the awakening of a world ready to rise is the reward, not fame or riches. 13th, your history is constructed to make you ready. Your past was not a series of unfortunate events, but a purposeful initiation to shape who you are now. Every heartbreaking betrayal, every setback that shook your confidence, and every depressing situation that made you doubt your purpose was part of a bigger plan than you could realize at the time. Your scars are proof that you survived the fire and are stronger, not a sign of weakness. Without these experiences, you would not have the insight, fortitude, and clarity that characterize you now. Illusions are destroyed by pain. It makes you face aspects of yourself that comfort would never bring to light. From pain, you have learned to stop looking to others who do not perceive your worth for validation. From your failures, you learned that learning to get up after every setback is more important for success than avoiding mistakes. You also learned from betrayals to believe your instincts, even when others tell you otherwise. Each encounter served as a lesson wrapped in hardship to prepare you for the journey only you can take. Some people devote their entire lives to avoiding their past because they believe that their scars make them unfit. But in reality, these scars are what make you fit for your mission. The depth of your purpose is shaped by the depth of your suffering. While others falter under pressure, you remain strong because you have already endured the worst and come out on top. This is why the chosen ones often endure more hardship than others. They have to go through this initiation to be able to carry the light that they will emit. Your past was lived for you, not by you. Every challenge has honed your resolve. Every loss has expanded your empathy, and every obstacle has shaped your character. Because you have gone through your own darkness and discovered the way out, you can help others navigate their own darkness. Your knowledge is acquired. It is not theoretical. And your greatest strength is your knowledge. To fulfill your mission, you have to accept your past instead of trying to erase it. Without those experiences, you would not be the resilient, strong, and discreet person you are now. Number 14. Your decisions matter now because time is running out. Time has changed over time. Events are happening faster. Days are passing more quickly, and the gap between idea and reality is closing. This acceleration is the result of a worldwide shift in awareness. It is not your imagination, as the barrier between realms is getting thinner. The timescale for awakening is fragmenting. What used to take years now takes months. Things that used to require decades of progress now require a single incarnation to accomplish. Because of this temporal compression, every decision has more significance than in the past. Hesitation is not just a delay, but the danger of missing your soul's goal altogether. Opportunities that were once abundant are now becoming limited. Doors that open today may close tomorrow. This is a wake-up call, not an attempt to scare. Those who need to anchor in higher awareness must act now as the world is about to tilt. Since readiness is a choice rather than a feeling, waiting until you feel ready is no longer an option. The cosmos operates in accordance with divine timing, rather than waiting for ideal conditions. If you hesitate when your time comes, you may lose the chance to fulfill the role you came here to play. The results also happen more quickly as a result of this acceleration. Decisions made out of insecurity, fear, or complacency lead to problems more quickly. But the opposite is also true. Faster breakthroughs result from decisions that are aligned with your mission. Acting with clarity and purpose is crucial because the distance between action and result is closing. With every decision you make, you either move closer to your goal or further away from it. The neutral ground no longer exists. The collapse of the timeline is a reminder to trust oneself without overanalyzing. Procrastination is the mind's struggle to hold on to the past when time seemed limitless and second chances seemed certain. But that world is disappearing. Your decisions are the ink used to write the future. Every second you put off is a moment lost in a world that no longer waits. Whether you are willing is more important than whether you are ready, because the time to take control of your life is now, not later. Awakening is a call to rise, not a destination, and now is the time to respond. The path of the chosen one is not filled with praise or consolation, but with obstacles that will reveal his inner strength. Every moment of doubt, every obstacle, and every resistance is proof that you are moving beyond the limits of the familiar world. However, whether you go further or not is entirely up to you. No force can force you against your will, and no one will come to give you permission. You have to choose between clinging to the delusions that used to protect you and accepting the weight of your mission. However, realize that hesitation is no longer an option. The world is changing beneath your feet, and there are fewer and fewer possibilities to connect with your goal. This is not a threat, but a reminder of the urgency that is embedded in your core. Your presence matters. Therefore, every minute counts. Souls are not chosen randomly by the cosmos. You are destined to be a light at a time when humanity needs you most, which is why you felt the pull of awakening. Your resistance is your armor. Your wounds are your credentials, and the decisions you make will affect not only your own destiny, but the future of the entire planet. Allow other people's opposition to serve as validation. Let the challenges you face serve as your initiation, and let the acceleration of time remind you that this life is not a rehearsal, but a stage on which your soul's mission must unfold. The moment you master your thoughts and trust your path, the power of the matrix diminishes. even as it responds more and more forcefully as you break away. The question now is not whether you will wake up, but what you will do when you do. Will you rise up and become the force of light you were always destined to be? Or will you crumble under the weight of your calling? The time is now, and the decision is yours. If this message has moved you, if you have experienced the inner spark of awareness, you are part of something bigger. However, awakening should not be experienced in isolation. When we work together, we create a much bigger impact than we can imagine. So, if you are ready to embrace your mission, please subscribe to the channel to help our community. By clicking the like button, you can help this message reach others who need to hear it. Your perspective could be the spark someone else needs, so please share your ideas in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to forward this video to those you know are about to wake up. The world needs more true voices. Let's rise together, one soul at a time.